Did you know that 90% of top performers have high emotional intelligence, EQ? It's true. But here's the shocking part. Only about 36% of people can accurately identify their own emotions as they happen. That means most of us are missing out on a key skill that can boost our success and happiness. Emotional intelligence isn't just a buzzword. It's a powerful tool that can transform your life. People with high EQ tend to have better relationships, more successful careers, and even healthier bodies. Yet, many of us still struggle to manage our emotions in a meaningful way. In this video, we're diving deep into the art of mastering your emotions. You'll discover 8 unique mindfulness exercises that can supercharge your emotional IQ. These aren't your typical tips, they're practical strategies backed by science that you can start using today. Want to learn how to tune into your emotions like a radio, or how colors can change your mood? Curious about using the past to heal the present? We've got all that and more lined up. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to not just understand your emotions, but to master them. Ready to take control? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Art of Emotional Tuning. Emotions are like radio frequencies. Sometimes you need to adjust the dial to find the right station. Emotional tuning is a mindfulness practice that helps you fine-tune your emotions, just like finding that perfect frequency on the radio. This technique allows you to become aware of subtle emotional shifts before they turn into larger reactions. Did you know that studies show it takes just 90 seconds for an emotion to run its course if you don't feed it? That's right, 90 seconds. The trick is catching that emotion in those first few moments. With emotional tuning, you learn to recognize these feelings early and adjust your emotional state before it spirals. A great way to practice this is by setting aside just 5 minutes a day to check in with yourself. Close your eyes, take deep breaths, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Once you've identified the emotion, imagine turning a mental dial to either amplify or soften that feeling. If you're feeling anxious, try dialing it down a notch. If you're feeling unmotivated, give it a little boost. This technique is about awareness and control. In fact, Daniel Goleman, author of Emotional Intelligence, emphasizes that the key to emotional intelligence lies in recognizing and regulating emotions, not suppressing them. Emotional tuning isn't about avoiding your feelings, it's about managing them so they don't manage you. Remember, like any skill, it takes practice. But with time, you'll become more adept at recognizing the early signs of emotional shifts and adjusting accordingly. It's a small but powerful habit that can make a big difference in how you navigate your daily life. Chapter 2. Mindful Mirror Technique. Ever notice how your facial expressions can influence your emotions? The Mindful Mirror Technique is a fascinating way to explore this connection. It's simple. Just look in the mirror when you're feeling a strong emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, or joy. Observe your face closely. Research shows that our facial expressions not only reflect our emotions but can also influence them. In psychology, this is known as the facial feedback hypothesis. When you smile, even if it's forced, your brain receives signals that can make you feel happier. So why not use this to your advantage? Next time you're overwhelmed, try this. Stand in front of a mirror and consciously soften your expression. Notice how your emotions shift as your facial muscles relax. By mindfully altering your expression, you're sending a message to your brain that you're in control. Interestingly, studies have shown that people who regularly practice this kind of self-observation tend to have better emotional regulation skills. It's like giving yourself a mini mindfulness session right there in the mirror. This technique is especially useful before important meetings or conversations. Take a moment to check in with your reflection, soften any tension you see, and approach the situation with a calmer mind. The mirror becomes more than just a tool for grooming, it's a gateway to emotional mastery. Chapter 3. The color of emotions. Colors have a profound impact on our emotions. The idea behind chromotherapy, or color therapy, is that different colors can evoke different emotional responses. This isn't just New Age mumbo-jumbo, there's science to back it up. For example, blue is known for its calming effects, while red can stimulate energy and passion. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that exposure to certain colors can significantly influence mood and behavior. This makes color visualization a powerful tool for emotional regulation. Here's how you can use this in your mindfulness practice. When you're feeling stressed, close your eyes and visualize a calming color like blue or green. Imagine yourself surrounded by this color, letting it wash over you. On the flip side, if you're feeling sluggish or unmotivated, visualize a vibrant red or orange to boost your energy. This technique taps into the mind-body connection, where visual cues directly influence emotional states. It's a simple yet effective way to manage your emotions in the moment. Think of it as painting your mood with the colors of your choice. And don't forget, this practice is highly personal. Experiment with different colors and see which ones resonate with you. Over time, you'll develop a personal color palette that you can draw on whenever you need to shift your emotional state. Chapter 4. Emotional ecosystem. Mapping. Our emotions don't exist in isolation, they're part of a complex ecosystem, constantly interacting with each other. Understanding this interplay is key to mastering your emotional IQ. That's where emotional ecosystem mapping comes in. Imagine your emotions as different species in a forest. Some are dominant, like the towering trees, while others are smaller but still vital, like the underbrush. Each emotion influences the others, sometimes supporting and sometimes competing. Start by mapping out your emotions. Take a piece of paper and draw a simple map, with your primary emotions in the center. Then, draw lines connecting them to secondary emotions that tend to arise in response. For instance, anger might be connected to frustration, which might lead to regret. This visual representation helps you see the bigger picture of your emotional life. It's not just about one emotion in the moment, but how that emotion fits into your overall emotional ecosystem. Recognizing these connections can help you predict emotional patterns and navigate them more effectively. Interestingly, a study by Dr. Robert Plutchik, a psychologist known for his work on emotions, suggests that understanding the complexity of your emotions can lead to better emotional regulation and mental health. By seeing your emotions as part of a larger system, you gain insight into how to manage them more effectively. This exercise is particularly useful during times of emotional overwhelm. When you can see how one emotion feeds into another, it's easier to break the cycle and restore balance to your emotional ecosystem. If you've found these techniques helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. There's plenty more to explore in the world of emotional intelligence, and you won't want to miss out on future insights. Chapter 5. The pause and play technique. Let's face it, our first reactions to emotional triggers aren't always the best ones. That's where the pause and play technique comes in. It's about creating a mental pause button that allows you to stop, think, and choose your response, rather than just reacting impulsively. Did you know that research from the University of Wisconsin-Madison shows that taking even a brief pause before reacting can reduce stress and improve decision-making? It's like giving your brain a moment to catch up with your emotions. This simple pause can be the difference between saying something you'll regret and responding thoughtfully. To practice this, start by noticing when you're about to react. When you feel that surge of emotion, take a deep breath and mentally press pause. In that pause, ask yourself, is my reaction in line with my values? This brief moment of mindfulness can help you shift from a knee-jerk reaction to a more measured response. Once you've paused, It's time to press play, but only after you've chosen how you want to proceed. This technique is about breaking the automatic loop of action and reaction. It gives you the power to rewrite the script of your emotional responses. One study found that people who practiced this kind of mindful interruption reported a 25% reduction in emotional reactivity after just 2 weeks. That's a huge benefit for such a simple practice. The pause and play technique is especially useful in high-stress situations. Whether you're dealing with conflict at work or tension at home, this method helps you stay calm and in control, rather than being swept away by your emotions. Chapter 6: Sensory Anchoring. Our senses are powerful tools for managing emotions. Sensory anchoring is a technique where you use physical sensations to ground yourself in the present moment, helping you stay centered when emotions run high. For instance, when you're feeling overwhelmed, try focusing on the sensation of your feet touching the ground. This simple act can instantly bring your attention away from swirling thoughts and back to the here and now. Research shows that grounding techniques like this can reduce anxiety and bring immediate relief. Another effective method is to carry a small object with a unique texture, like a smooth stone or a piece of fabric. When you're stressed, hold the object and focus on how it feels in your hand. This sensory input helps anchor your mind, pulling you out of emotional chaos and into a state of calm. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, the founder of Mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, often talks about the importance of using the body as a tool for mindfulness. He suggests that by focusing on physical sensations, we can create a buffer between ourselves and our emotional reactions, giving us more control. You can also use sensory anchoring with smell. Scents like lavender or eucalyptus are known for their calming properties. Keep a small vial of essential oil with you, and when you need to reset, take a deep breath of the scent. This can quickly bring you back to a state of balance. Over time, these sensory anchors become like emotional safe zones that you can rely on in moments of stress. They're simple, effective, and easy to integrate into your daily life. Chapter 7: Emotional Weather Forecasting. Have you ever wished you could predict your emotions like the weather? Emotional weather forecasting is a mindfulness practice that helps you anticipate your emotional climate, so you're better prepared to handle whatever comes your way. This technique involves paying attention to the patterns in your emotions. Just like the weather, our emotions often follow predictable cycles. By tracking your moods over time, you can start to see these patterns and prepare accordingly. For example, if you know that Mondays tend to be stressful, you can plan ahead by practicing extra self-care on Sunday evenings. Or if you notice that you're more irritable in the afternoon, schedule important meetings for the morning when you're at your best. One study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders found that people who regularly tracked their moods were better at managing stress and had fewer emotional outbursts. This suggests that simply being aware of your emotional patterns can make a big difference in how you handle them. To start forecasting your emotions, keep a simple mood journal. Each day, jot down how you're feeling and any events that might have influenced your mood. After a few weeks, look for patterns. Are there certain triggers that consistently affect your mood? Are there times of day when you're more prone to certain emotions? Once you've identified these patterns, you can start making adjustments to your routine to better manage your emotional weather. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, giving you more control over your emotional landscape. Chapter 8: Emotional Time Travel. Emotional time travel is a mindfulness exercise that involves revisiting past emotional experiences to gain new insights and heal from old wounds. This technique helps you process unresolved emotions and rewrite your emotional history. The idea is to choose a past event that still triggers strong emotions, like a disagreement with a friend or a stressful work situation. Then, close your eyes and imagine yourself back in that moment, but as the person you are today, with all the wisdom and emotional intelligence you've gained since then. Research shows that our memories are malleable. Every time we recall an event, we have the opportunity to reshape how we remember it. This is the basis for emotional time travel. By revisiting past events with a mindful perspective, you can change the way they impact you in the present. Dr. Rick Hanson, author of Hardwiring Happiness, explains that the brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. But by consciously revisiting and reframing these memories, we can start to reverse this process, making our minds more resilient to stress. As you travel back to these past events, focus on how you would respond differently now. What advice would you give your past self? How can you apply the lessons you've learned since then? This exercise not only helps you heal but also strengthens your emotional intelligence, making you better equipped to handle future challenges.